Hello, 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 and welcome to Dickens and Quips, the podcast that takes the Poe, more like Poe-faced, out of poetry. Join me, Dee Dickens, as I wander around showing you a world that isn't only populated by old, dead white men. So this week I have the lovely Claudia Volpe. Have I got that right?
You have. Hello, Dee. Hello.
Hello. Claudia is a poet bookworm and wannabe publisher with a special passion for food. Her poetry is simple but truthful, with touches of vivid imagery. Sometimes it is also about food. I can definitely vouch for this. A lot of the time it is about food, but her work is amazing. So what a bio doesn't tell you is about a person. I met Claudia at Unislam. You're going to hear that a lot. A lot of the guests I've got coming on, I'm going to at Unislam. She asked me for a hug because she was missing her mum and I was a mum. And this was after having been in a workshop with her. And I was so happy to give her that hug. And I've kind of been poetry mum to her ever since. She's a
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
She's an amazing poet and an all-round good egg. Her work brings in such beautiful imagery and such everyday objects, like a favourite cardigan, and it just makes you feel really warm and in the moment. So you're in for a really good treat, and I'm looking forward to hearing her read. It's been too long. So this week, what am I reading? I have been rereading River Hymns by Tyree Daye. Tyree Daye, it says in his bio, is a poet from Youngsville, North Carolina, and a teaching assistant professor at UNC Chapel Hill. He is the author of two poetry collections, River Hymns from 2017, which was a April Honickman First Book Prize winner, and Cardinal, forthcoming from Copper Canyon Press in 2020. Daye is a Cave Canon Fellow, whatever that means, I don't know. Daye won the 2019 Palm Beach Poetry Festival Langston Hughes Fellowship. Wow, you should get a medal just being able to say that. It's such a mouthful. 2019 Diana and Simon Raab, writer in resident at UC Santa Barbara, and is a 2019 Kate Tufts finalist. Daye most recently was awarded a 2019 Whiting Writers Award, which tells us a lot about his mantelpiece with all of these awards, but doesn't really tell us much about him as a person. His collection does. He's one of those poets that lets the poems do the speaking for him. I'm hoping one day to get him on the show. He's like so good. This collection, River Hymns, was one of those that inspired my dissertation collection, Fear of Drowning. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, he writes about what it's like to be Black in the South in America and to grow up by the river. And it's so personal. And there are times you feel almost voyeuristic reading it, like he's letting you into a secret that you shouldn't really know about because you're not part of his family. But he has a real way of making you feel included, even if it's from the outside.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I wrote an after poem for him in my dissertation collection, which is the one of my own I'm going to read today.
Yeah.
But we will start with one of his. Yeah, one of the things I do love about this whole collection is when you read it, you feel like you're stood in the middle of a room watching everything come into existence. Like everything is almost like when you're playing Minecraft and you wander and your frame rate beats it. But
Of
it's
course.
kind of like that, but in a poetic way. It's like places I've never been to seem as vivid and beautiful in this darkness. So the one I've chosen to read is Southern Silence, and I think it's exquisite. And let me just grab my book. Okay. I've only trusted 4 white people in my life. My mother showed me the ropes early. I'm afraid to untie myself, get down from this branch. Even the Jesus on the wall of this church, old and swaying, has something up his sun-touched sleeves. Tell me the value of my soul, why he wants it so badly. I can't pray to someone who favours the men that called us niggers from their trucks. I touched every part of Thomas Field until I found the dirt I thought could hold me. What said nothing always grieved. I loved myself before I knew what I was made of. So many different things will ruin the blood. A bottle of gin killed 3 of my uncles, 1 granddaddy. We call it white liquor. I wanted to cage and bring home what I made of myself. Look at your boy, proud boy, mama. I wish I only spoke in song, made a home from these trees the way birds do. So,
Oh, wow. I
that,
mean,
yeah. So,
woo!
yeah, woo, exactly. So, yeah, so that was Southern Silence. And even
And it
reading,
was a lovely reading of yours, I'd say.
thank you. Um, it's really odd because the way it's put out on the page, the way it's presented on the page, is almost like the branches of a tree. So it's difficult to show that on a
Oh, that's so
podcast,
nice.
but it's absolutely
Of
gorgeous.
course.
The whole collection is so well thought out. There is not a single stray word. It's just it's awesome.
I'm going to make sure I give it a read now. You caught
Well, one of the
me.
things I do is I always send the guest who I have on the podcast a copy of whatever it is I've read from. So Sam got a copy of
Oh,
whatever it was I read from there. Joe got a copy of How to Carry Fire. So if you send me your address afterwards, I will send you a copy of River Hymns by Tyree Daye.
oh, that's so nice of you, Dee. Thank you. I'd love that. And we can discuss the poems together then.
Yes, I am so down for this. So my poem
Good.
that I wrote after Tyree Daye is called Chicken and Bun, and I wrote this for my late Aunt Veronica, who I didn't know that well, but was also always such a lady. Now, I really object to being called a lady because that depends on someone else's opinion of me, and I'm not buying into it. But there was no other word for her. She'd never go out for her walk without her gloves and a hat. She was that kind of old-fashioned lady.
Hello.
So,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. So this is Chicken and Bun. Chop the chicken just so. My Auntie Veronica said the bones added to the flavour. When she died, I could only ever picture her in Sunday gloves and hat until I cooked her curry. I remembered the way the sun reflected off the strands of hair, fighting to stay in the tight bun at the nape of her neck. The way her hands wafted steam from burned sugar and tomato towards us. How much pepper we needed, a whispered secret. I remember her laugh was a waterfall, a river, a splash of water on hot oil. Thank you. So that's Chicken. And it's one of my favourite poems I've ever written. So
I mean, I'm sure everyone can say why.
yeah, I was really, really happy when I wrote that. And my dad actually went, okay, my dad, you will hear, podcast people, you will hear stories of my dad as we go along this journey together. He's probably the least poetic person I know. I didn't get my poetry from him. But he actually quite liked this poem. Normally he goes, okay. But this one he actually liked it because it was about his sister. And he said, yeah. So my dad says I captured it.
That's really nice.
I'm happy. So on to the really exciting bit, the guest interview. It's Claudia Volpe. Well, I'm so excited to have you on. I am so excited to have you on. Like literally,
I'm excited to be on.
I literally set up a podcast so I could chat to my mates over Zoom. It was great. So
that's the best thing you can do ever.
right. Claudia has just been such an inspiration to me because she's been an Italian stuck in various places and not been able to move because of lockdown, and she's borne it with such aplomb. It's been amazing. So I have some questions for you, Claudia. Just
Okay, though.
just little ones, like nothing too important. So first question, why is poetry important to you?
Okay, so when I get questions like this, and then I don't know what to say, and poetry is exactly for that. I might be a poet, but I'm not good at talking openly. So I have to have a think sometimes, and then words just come out on paper. And I think that's why I've always been writing since I was little. I've always found it a bit difficult to actually express myself, even though people say I have no problem in that. Um, but yeah, I guess that's why, and it's something that I will cherish forever.
Wow, so poetry, we've talked before about poetry as a way of promoting well-being, of dealing and processing trauma, but what we hadn't talked about before was poetry as communication. And I think that's what you're
Yeah.
saying here, is like when you feel like you can't communicate with the outside world, your poetry will do that for you.
Yes, it's just like it opens a window on me and on what I feel more than what I want to say, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just so good to share something that maybe you have bottled up for long, but you finally found the words for it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally get you. Totally get you on that. It really
And
is.
definitely it's like something that is self-healing anyway.
Yeah.
You know, once the bad things are out or the good things are out, you know, they're out. You don't feel too full up anymore, so you can experience new things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Poetry is a way to express emotion and move on from it. I like that. I like that. Being able to rid yourself of something, give it its due time and its due
Yeah,
place, and then go on and experience something else. That's really
yeah,
cool. I
that's
like that very much. So,
good.
next question. Are you writing? And if so, what sort of stuff are you writing at the moment?
Right. So at the moment I have been very busy, so I haven't been writing a lot, but I was working on a little, I wouldn't call it collection, it's more like a small series of poems that I've written during lockdown. So it's all in 2, 3 months, like when we actually were doing the proper lockdown. And it is about that and about missing home, because obviously, as you said, I'm Italian. All my family is in Italy. It's been very hard, and also missing the people that are here, but that were here, but I couldn't see. Um, and I don't know, maybe in with that, I go also in what's been in my mind as I've been struggling with mental health a lot, as a lot of people have in this time. So I look forward to finish editing that at some point and maybe use it somehow.
Excellent. Excellent. That's really, I'd love to read it. Absolutely love to read it. You have just a
Well, I'll
way.
make sure I send it over.
Yeah, make sure you do. Are you looking to get it published, or is it just for you?
I think that I will be along with it for a while and
Yeah.
then eventually publish it. I think it's been a very hard time for everyone, but especially I felt so out of the world
Yeah.
whilst literally in a cage between four walls, and that was it. But
Yeah.
so I think I want to sit on it for a while and then see how I feel about it.
That makes absolute sense. I mean, I've been quite lucky. I have been stuck within four walls, but I've been stuck with my husband and my daughter person. So we've
Yeah,
all had
that's
each other,
beautiful.
and we've been very lucky. We haven't got in each other's nerves. It's been great.
Well
it
done,
could
you.
it could have got really bad, but it hasn't. There are no two people I would rather spend lockdown with. Though Noah has now gone back to Cardiff to move into their house, ready for their.
Yeah, I've heard. That's so exciting, though.
I know, it's like really, really exciting. So, are you reading much? And if you aren't, what are you reading?
Yes, I've actually picked up some books that I was meant to read ages ago, And I've actually just read The Secret Garden,
Oh, right.
which I don't remember who it's from. I don't really care, but it's someone famous. Um, and it's quite an old book, but I absolutely adored it. I remember watching the movie when I was little, but it's nothing like the movie. And there's such a presence of nature in it, and nature is like talked of like magic almost, and people just get in touch with nature and they change over time, and that's quite fascinating to me. And the ending is absolutely fantastic, and I almost cried, and I was like, okay, I need to reread this without crying at some point, but I highly recommend it.
Okay. Okay. I shall put a link to it in the show notes. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
I will find that and I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Claudia's recommendation, read The Secret Garden. I have to admit, I've never read it.
Oh,
So,
you should, honestly, so good. I think it's a coming of age novel,
yeah.
but I've never felt so close to a book before.
Oh, wow. That's some recommendation. I will definitely give it a read when I've got through my big reading list for my master's.
Good luck.
Yeah, I got a big delivery of books this week and literally just went ka-chunk through. And
Oh, bless.
I'm starting with The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh.
Yeah, which I haven't read. I've read Oryx and Crake, but by Margaret Atwood, but I've not read The Handmaid's Tale yet. So, having seen the TV series, I'm looking forward to it. So, what poem are you going to read to us from someone else?
So I found this super nice book that I can show you because you can see me, but everyone else will just imagine it. And it's got like drawings, and it's like so nice with it, like all the margins they've painted. It looks like a very old book, but it's not. Uh, and I picked a really, really short poem by a certain Robert Graves, whom I didn't know, but he's a poet, an English poet from the Victorian era. And this is She Tells Her Love While Half Asleep. She tells her love while half asleep in the dark hours, with half words whispered low, as earth stirs in her winter sleep and puts out grass and flowers, despite the snow, despite the falling snow. And that was it.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
It is, isn't it?
That's
I really find it beautiful. It's so small, but it's so me. Like I was like, this guy from a century ago is writing about me.
yeah. Oh, that's lovely. It's a real warm, cozy, loving feeling
Yeah.
to it, isn't it?
It gave me some sort of like a promise that despite things, despite snow falling, there's always good
There's
things
always
coming
spring.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
it's just like so delicate, and like the half asleep thing, when you say things that you might not say when you wide awake.
yeah.
So it's a whisper, secret, love. That's all that
There is
jazz.
a real sense of transition in between being asleep and awake, and also I think within spring and winter. There's a
Yes.
transition between the seasons and with the states of being. I think in such a small piece, it's captured that beautifully.
Yeah, I know, right? I was astonished. I wish I could write like that.
Oh, you do write like that. Thank you so much for that, Claudia. And which
Thank
of your
you.
poems are you going to read to us?
No, I think you might have heard this at some point. I was meant to do it at Unislam, but obviously we didn't get through, so I never did it. But it's one of my favorite poems, probably like my favorite. And I just wanted to be on theme with what I just read. So it's like a sort of a love poem. It's got that very calm thing to it. It's just a cute one, I'd say. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And it's called I Like It Like That. You turn the lights off, saying you like it like that. And I wonder what's there to like if I don't see what I'm touching and kissing and holding. If I don't see where my skin ends and yours begins, and I can connect the dots on your stomach, then how do I know what's my favorite constellation to spot when we lay together in this private garden of pillows and blankets? And more pillows because you like it like that. You said you want your body on a soft cloud to follow your head all the times it goes up there and doesn't come down anymore. You said it's so far you can never reach it, always an inch away from your grasp, from your heart, from all the do's and the don'ts and all the pros and the cons list should make, hanging around your room because you like it like that. You said they remind you of every decision you had to face, or what's best for you but hurting others, and happiness has a price sometimes. But, darling, oh darling, I like it like that. I say I'm ready to pay any price for your happiness and your lists and your clouded head and the pillows where you rest your face at night and the blankets we hide under. I say leave on all the lights because I like it like that. I say I want to see the curve of your smile right before I hold your face, kiss your freckles, touch every single inch of you, and make you my everlasting supernova. Thank you.
Oh, I love that poem so much. I have literally got goosebumps. Thank you so much, Claudia. That's the best I've heard you read it. It's,
Really? Thank you so
yeah.
much.
Yeah, I've heard you read. I think this is about the third time I've heard you read it, and
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just fall in love with it even every time, more every time. And I think that's the best I've heard you read it, and the smiliest I've seen you read it. So
Thank you, Dee.
I don't think I've seen you read it with such a smile before. No. But yeah, it
Things
definitely.
change, don't they?
Yes, things do change, but yeah, the line about the curve of your smile before and kissing your freckles, that just made me go so gooey because it's exactly what I do with my beloved. He
Oh,
has a crooked smile, and that crooked smile turns me into a puddle of mush on the floor. It's just,
I know exactly how you feel. I,
yeah.
I do. And that's true. Like, I realize now that I'm smiling so much, and I'm like, okay.
Okay, but I like it. I like seeing smiley Claudia. I mean, I liked not a smiley Claudia too, but it's nice to see you smiling.
Smiley cat is better.
Yeah. So this week, in lines that make you go, "Ooh, I wish I'd written that." It's from again River Hymns by Tyree Daye, and it's from the poem Firewater, and the line is, "A storm speaks every language." And I
This
just,
really is just going like, oh my God.
I know, I was so taken by it. It reminded me that we're in a shitstorm. Like, coronavirus pandemic is affecting every country in one way or another.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to think you're alone. We talked earlier about being in four walls, and I live in a on a mountain in South Wales, and
Just,
but then on the other side of the world is going to be a woman who's also worrying about what the future holds. We're all in this storm
yeah,
together, and it speaks every language, and
that is beautiful.
it speaks one universal language, I think, too. We should be united, but we're not. Would it be better if we only spoke one language, or would we lose something in the
Oh,
middle?
so much better. I mean, that's a dream, isn't it? But everyone has a dream. At some point, dreams become reality if you work
Yeah,
hard enough. And I hope we go
absolutely.
towards that at some point.
Excellent. Oh, so brilliant. So it is time for you to do your shameless plug. Do you have a book out? Do you offer services? Do you do editing? Do you do
Oh,
writing, that sort of thing? Do you make the world's most amazing cottage pie? Your time to
I
do this
mean,
shameless plug.
so I'm a very good cook because obviously I'm Italian. So that aside, no one can make a pizza like I do here in Canterbury. Trust me.
Oh,
Anyway, other than that, I do edit a little bit. I haven't done freelancing yet, but I was about to start. So if anyone has, a collection or something, I didn't have a lot of experience, but I have worked with Whiskey and Beard as an editor. I am still actually an editor, editing intern with them. So, hit me up if you need some advice, and then I will let you know when my first collection of poem or whatever it's going to be will be published, because actually I was working on a memoir, so maybe that would be the one to go out first.
maybe.
And yeah, and if anything, you can find me obviously on Facebook and on Instagram, and I just post memes and some poetry, and that's my that's
I'll,
my thing for me.
I'll stick Claudia's socials in the show notes. So if you want to give her a follow, you can. Um, so, yeah, next week, I'm joined by the incredible Alice Gretton.
Woo!
Yeah. And we'll be reading from Kumakanda by Kayo Chingonye, which is a collection
I
that
look
holds
forward to it.
a very special, very special place in my heart. So I will say thank you for listening. Thank you, Claudia, for being on the show. I've really, really
Thank
enjoyed
you
our
for
time
having me.
together. I've been Dee Dickens, and you have, as ever, been marvelous. You can get in touch with the show on Dickens and Quips at gmail.com, or on Twitter and Insta at Dickens and Quips. If you want to have a chat with my personal Twitter, I'm the Ponty Poet on Twitter. I am Dee Dickens, poet and author on Facebook. Please do let me know what's going on in your area poetry wise. If there's events that you're putting on, let me know. I'd love to spread the words and get them advertised for you.
Sure.
Like I said, next week I'm joined by Alice Gretton, and I'll be reading from Kumakanda. This week I leave you with the prompt of the week: chicken. I thought we would have, being as I did chicken and bun for mine, and Claudia loves to cook so much, we had to have something food related. So the
Oh
prompt
yeah, 100%.
so the prompt is chicken. If you pop in a poem or just a small piece of prose, whatever you fancy doing, stick it in an email. I'll read it out on next week's show. So it just leaves me to say again, thank you so much, Claudia. So take care, everybody, and try and make good choices. And if you can't make good choices, then write poetry about the bad ones. Bye-bye.
Bye, Dee. Thank you so much.
Bye.